So, legs is a big topic. One video is not going to be enough to cover even really the basics of this scenario. So what I want to do in this is kind of just talk about beginning to engage with this battle. Leg locks are almost like a whole subset, a whole other 50% of jiu-jitsu. Most of the time we're thinking about upper body pins, but there's a lot going on with the legs other than just the submissions themselves. For a long time, leg locks were just taught in like, throw yourself in, snatch something up, and rip it. There wasn't a lot of thought behind the positions of the leg entanglements themselves. And in the last 5-10 years, that's the biggest change that I've seen in jiu-jitsu, is that people are approaching these leg entanglements, the ways that we lock onto the leg that we want to attack. People are going to be using those more in the same way that we would use a guard. Each leg entanglement will have a different purpose, a different task that it's able to accomplish, and it'll come up in different scenarios. It's not going to be as simple as like, I have a favorite leg entanglement, because maybe that leg entanglement is not appropriate for the situation at hand. And if that's what we get tunnel vision on, we lose everything. We get passed, we get our back taken, we get counterlocked. All of these things that happen in this, we call it the pocket, where we're both able to kind of get a hold of each other's legs. We need to be able to understand the flow of that and understand where we're at, what the major battle is, what's going on, what he wants to happen, what I need to make happen, and what our branches are, where we could take the position we're at now and where we can go with it. The first real fight of this leg exchange is generally over who has inside position. So by that I mean, right now Mitchell's knees are open and he has this space inside of his legs. If my feet are inside of his knees and his legs, this gives me the opportunity to move in and attack on either side. If we are one in and one out, we're in more of a neutral position where we both might have options of attack on the other's leg, and neither of us are particularly safe. When I find myself giving up my own inside position between my legs, I should have those warning bells going off in my brain that even if this guy's not been leg locking me, I've opened the door for it. When these feet are in here, whether he's passing or playing his guard, or we're both on our hips in this leg lock exchange where we're both trying to fight into the pocket, all of these situations give him leg entries if I give up that inside space between my knees. So I want to guard that, constantly be fighting back to the inside so that I can be the one playing offense while he's stuck constantly on his heels playing defense. The positions of leg locking are called leg entanglements. Sometimes they are called ashis. And then we have a few other ones that aren't technically ashis, which is just a Japanese word. I generally refer to them as either entanglements or knots, because I feel like my English-speaking students have an easier time understanding a knot forming around the leg than an ashi, which isn't a word in our language. So when I'm moving into these leg locks, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to form a wedge, a circle, some type of clamp around the leg that bites down above his knee. The knee line is an important concept for leg locking, where I'm keeping an invisible line in my head between my two knees. While I'm keeping that in mind, I'm always trying to monitor his knee and make sure that it is closer to me than my knee line. Here, I can bite down on that thigh, keep that controlled, and then start applying leverage and pressure into his lower leg, whether I'm going after the ankle, maybe I'm going after the heel to send the force up into the knee. But all of these are going to be contingent on me biting down on the upper leg and keeping it in place so that I can then rotate through or drive force into his lower leg. If I am playing in this leg entanglement situation and I feel his knee start to slip out of my knee line, this is decision time for me. Am I going to try to recover the knee line and fight back in to keep attacking legs? Or am I going to establish some form of control on the lower leg at this distance and then use that control to keep him from building up with me as I take height and start to pass and work my way through a guard. Like I said, we're gonna have a few different leg entanglements, leg knots that we play with. We have our basic entry or irimi ashi, if you're into the Japanese. We have our outside knots. We have our inside knots. We have our, shift this way for me, right here. Our cross knots, where the leg crosses the center line as opposed to the other ones where it shot straight across the hip and stayed on the same side of my body. We're even gonna have some that are more of a shootout situation, like our 50-50, where if Mitchell sits up with me real quick, we're in the exact same position right now. Our legs are hooking the other person's leg in the exact same manner. And now in situations like this, or our mutual ashi, are gonna be scenarios where there's no inherent advantage in the position itself, but we utilize certain tricks inside of the position to outclass and outskill the other person. When we're here, it's not about, oh, I'm in top mount, so I'm obviously winning. Here we have the exact same alignment of our feet and legs. And so it's gonna be more about who's on which hip, who establishes grips quicker, whose legs are able to lock down and form a wedge in a more effective way. And those situations turn into shootouts where it's just simply going to be who's better at leg locking, or are you better at escaping legs than I am at leg locking? That's another thing that we'll work on even in these like more mutual reciprocal positions where things are even and it's going to be about skill. We want to learn how to both beat them here and make our way out, extract the leg, and work our way into either a pass or a back take or something like that if this doesn't seem to be going in our favor. When my opponent has me in a leg entanglement, a few things that I'm thinking about are trying to prevent him from getting really good solid grips on my lower legs. So I might be fighting his grips here, trying to prevent him either getting the Achilles grip or a bite on my heel. That's a big one. I might try to take his wedges off of me and open up that knot that he's created around my leg. And then another one that we're gonna work on quite often is gonna be building up to our feet so that I can put weight down on that foot and prevent him from twisting it or overextending it. And as we build up these defensive systems, we'll have a lot of different exit points, whether I am going from my defense into a counterattack, whether I'm going from here into a guard pass, or maybe I'm trying to take the back off of some of these attacks. We'll have a few different ways to handle his leg attacks on me. But first thing that I'm thinking of is just basic defensive responsibility that puts me in a safe position to work from. So I'm keeping my heel close to his body, I'm crowding, I'm starting to take his grips away if he's fighting in there to get heel, to get Achilles grip, whatever he might be going for. When we are attacking the leg, we have the knee and the ankle as targets. And both of those I'm going to be able to both hyperextend and over rotate. On the foot and ankle, I'm going to have my straight ankle lock where I am driving into the back of the Achilles as I overextend his foot. With that same foot and ankle, I can also form what we call a toe hold, where instead of overextending the foot down, I take his toe in towards the inside of his knee and his butt, rotating the foot sideways, as if we jumped really high and came down and rolled our ankle. So I have straight and I have rotation. Boom. Now on the knee, I have the same thing where I might be up going for a knee bar, hyperextending the knee in this direction, or I'm gonna have those heel hooks that we talked about where I have taken a grip under his heel and now my legs drive to point his knee away from me at the same time that my upper body rotates to pull his heel with me in the opposite direction. So what we're doing is we're creating this like Indian burn in the knee joint and turning his knee and heel in the same direction as I put cross forces on the two different halves of the leg. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming.